Hey everyone, it's Garrett. I'm here with Stehlin. We are doing something different today. We are previewing our next book that we're reading this next season, with February being, the month that Valentine's Day is celebrated, love being in the air. We thought, hey, let's do a theme centered around the topic of love. And we thought, why not read a marriage book? And Stalen, you recommended, and the guys voted, and we'll be reading The Seven Principles for Making Marriage Work by John Gottman and Nan Silver. Yeah, walk me through. Let's kind of like just preview the book on why this stuck out to you that you recommended it to the guys.
Yeah, so I think all of us really had a desire to, the whole idea of why we do this each week is so that we can better know each other, but also help each other become better men, better spouses, better, you know, better in a lot of ways. And I think that this was an area that we haven't, you know, dug into in the past for the book club. So we're all really excited to go into this. We're all married men or trying to become married men. And so I think with that, a book like this can be very valuable to learn, grow, and hopefully find out the ways in which we can work on our marriage, affect our marriage positively, understand ourselves a little better, but also hopefully understand our spouse better. um so I personally first read this book, um I think it was like in either 2018 or 2019. Actually, when I picked it back up, it was kind of cool to see a handwritten note in the intro, and it was or in the on the front page. An older, wiser individual gave it to me. He was a counselor, and he said, "Hey, you should read this book." He was like, "It'll positively affect your marriage in ways that you can't imagine." And I think I would say it's been fairly true for me. There's a lot of things that I learned from the past that I still can recall, but I'm really looking forward to getting into it again to kind of revisit some of these ideas. I'm sure I've forgotten a ton, but also to be able to discuss these things with you all and get a chance to hopefully learn with each other and grow with each other and become better husbands.
For sure. Yeah, I had not heard of this book until you introduced it to me. And a short background, some stuff had kind of hit the fan in my own marriage. This is coming up about 18 months ago, actually. And Stalen really just took me under his wing, I would say. And he was like, "Hey, if you want to make things right, you got to do this, that, and the other, and you need to read these handful of books." And the first book you recommended was this one. And I still, since that time, I still tell people that this is the best marriage book I've ever read.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily quote it per se, but I recommend it, and I talk a lot about a lot of the things that I've learned. And then even, yeah, starting to pick it up as we're getting into it again, already applying some things. Met with a couple guys. We kind of have a small group of guys I meet with every other week. And guys are talking about how their marriages are going. And I immediately started giving them advice that was directly from the book because it's so practical, it's applicable,
Yeah.
and it honestly works. It really does. And I owe it a lot to this book, but more so you, Stalen, for being so intentional with me and introducing this book to me. So I'm thrilled to be going through it with you this time and the other guys as well.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'm glad to hear that, and thanks for sharing, Garrett. To kind of quickly do a quick overview to or preview of the book. So,
Yeah, let's do that.
John Gottman had done, and his wife have a love lab in Seattle, which you'll hear us talk about more in coming weeks, where basically they did uh, various collected various physiological data with newly married couples.
And it's in like an apartment, right? A staged apartment.
Yeah, in an apartment or essentially a lab where they're having them observing them for just basically a normal weekend,
Yeah.
and they're observing them deal with conflicts and conversations, and then through this he tracks these couples and follows through with who stays married, who doesn't stay married, and um, develop some pretty fascinating research about divorce and who stays married. And through that, he's able to then go through develops the 7 principles of what he believes are what make marriages work, or that you'll see in healthy, happy, lasting marriages. So I hope the same for all of us in this group, and I hope for the same for anyone listening. So I think this is going to be a really good read for us to do.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. I mean, we always say at the end of our podcast episodes to read, reflect, and connect. And it is a fun little catchphrase that you, Stalen, created. Props to you. But I do think that's
Actually, I think it was Ruth that did on the
really
sidebar. Ruth is the
okay.
initial
Well,
one
there
that
you
brought it up.
go.
But yeah.
The eighth principle for making marriage work: give credit to your spouse. And but yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, the idea behind why we do this is hopefully encouraging people and men, but also women. You know, we closer to half of our listeners are women after all. So it's for both sides of the equation of, you know, reflecting and connecting more. And so hopefully this, if we can play a small role in encouraging you all with reading this, picking this book up, joining us in the conversation, and then taking some things and applying it to your own relationship and marriage, then that's one of the hopes. So excited to get into it, and we look forward to you tuning in over the next 7 to 8 weeks to read along with the 7 principles for making marriage work by John Gottman. We'll see you all next week, but until then, read, reflect, and connect.